your YE ticket, get your YE ticket to ride.
This is your entertainment ticket. Latest and greatest movie reviews and interviews. This is your entertainment ticket. YEticket.com. Yeah.
Hi, my name is David Edelstein. I'm film critic for New York Magazine and NPR's Fresh Air and CBS Sunday Morning. So I have all the media covered.
So why are you here tonight?
I am here to do a Q&A on stage, a very brief one with one of my existential heroes, John Turturro. He's actually a neighbor of mine in Brooklyn. I don't see him very often, but he's a neighborhood hero. You know, he's the guy who acts in all these huge movies and then uses the ridiculous money he makes from the big movies to make his movies that he cares about, and he stays in the neighborhood that he's been in all his life.
So John, I want to first present you with the Career Achievement Tribute Award from the 2014 Miami International Film Festival. As well, we have a gift of a timepiece from 88 Rue de Rhone, our sponsor, who wishes you a lifetime of luck with this gift. So,
I have to say, I consider this a mid-career achievement award. I don't do these things to get trophies or anything. Truth of the matter is, your job is to keep the audience awake and try to tell them a story and entertain them. I'm a very fortunate person, and there are a lot of other professions that are much more meaningful than my profession, even though people, so many people see it. But there aren't awards for best moms or best teachers and best dentists, and so I try to keep this all in perspective. I'm just a person who likes what I do, and I try to keep reinventing myself whenever I have the opportunity. But I love what I do, and I don't take it for granted. And I appreciate, everybody's appreciation of what I'm attempting to portray. So thank you very much.
So I'd like to now invite David Edelstein from New York Magazine to come on out, and we're going to sit down and have a conversation.
Thank you, Dave, for introducing me second. Actually, I thought I was going to be introducing John Turturro myself. I spent a lot of time writing an intro. I kind of like it, so is it okay if I read it to you instead of... No, we don't have much time, so I promise I'll be really quick. I'm just going to do greatest hits. Thank you. And thank you to the Miami Film Festival for granting my request. Actually, I demanded it, to talk on stage to one of my existential heroes. I first saw John Turturro in 1985 in To Live and Die in LA. He was chased by William Peterson through an airport. You saw a bit of that. And then into a bathroom and knocked around pretty badly. He was pleading, he was wheedling, he was defiant. I thought, this guy will either be one of our best actors or one of our very worst. Because you never know from one role. Could he modulate that energy? Could he control it? He had what in Julius Caesar is said of Casca, that lean and hungry look. Hungry, affamato in Italian, famished. I saw a lot of ambition. Then over the years, as the sensational performances mounted up in Miller's Crossing, Barton Fink, Do the Right Thing, Quiz Show, The Big Lebowski, of course. Recently, everybody, The Bronx is Burning. What a performance he gave as Billy Martin. ignored by the same body that gave Michael Douglas a prize for his drag show Liberace. And then as he moved into directing daring, hard-on-the-sleeve films like Romance and Cigarettes, Passione, and now Fading Gigolo, I realized that the hunger went deeper than I'd thought. It was a hunger to seize the day. It was a hunger for connection. It was a hunger for romance. It was a hunger for love of acting and actors, a passion for passione's sake, as a way of defining oneself in a rather cold world. And so I am not being hyperbolic entirely. I don't love all his films. There are some real clunkers in there, but John Turturro is truly one of my existential heroes. So that's what I love. So let's bring them on, shall we? Thank you. Great to see you.
Thank you.
You are in fact a neighbor of mine. My neighbor Turturro. I'm sure you've heard that many times. That's
yes, I have.
In joke. I was wondering, when I think of you writing your scripts for films that you're going to direct, I have this vision of you reading every line at the top of your voice and pacing around and getting your wife, Catherine Borowitz, who's lovely and a wonderful actress. How do you go about, as an actor, putting these films together like the one we're about to see?
Well, the film we're about to see, I was talking to a friend of mine, and this thought kind of struck me that I know that Woody Allen, has always liked me, and I've always liked him. I thought, wow, wouldn't it be interesting if we were together in a film, and both of our different, voices together. And then I shared that with my hair cutter, who's Woody Allen's hair cutter. And I said, well, I could be like an old prostitute, and he could be my pimp, and I really like this idea. So I said, but don't tell Woody. And then he told Woody, and then Woody said, well, that's a great idea. And just have John call me. And then my hair cutter actually called me up, and he said, Woody loves your idea. And I was like, oh my God. I said, could you? But it was a sincere idea. I had a feeling that we could have good chemistry together. I don't know why, but then I met him and we talked about it, and he said, okay, that's funny, that's not funny, that could be funny, and he said, you write it and I'll give you my feedback. And he did. He gave me his merciless criticism. And then in the middle of that, we did these plays together, Relatively Speaking, which he suggested me. So I really got to know him. But this came out of really my sort of affection for him. And I've always liked films about streetwalkers. I mean, there have been so many great films, so many great actresses, from Barbara Stanwyck to Juliette Massina, to Jane Fonda, to Anna Magnani. It goes on, and Barbara Streisand. I mean, and I thought, wow, this could be interesting. And I loved Midnight Cowboy when I was a kid. I always wanted to be able to see Midnight Cowboy because it was rated X when it came out, and I couldn't see it. But it was a movie that had a big influence on me because I saw Dustin Hoffman. And when I saw Dustin Hoffman and I was 12 years old, I said, there's a guy who looks like he's in my family, and what's he doing in the movie? I hadn't seen a person like him. So sometimes these things happen, and then I had Woody's voice in mind when I was writing this, but I kind of acted out a little bit, and now I have someone who I dictate to, and then he types it up, and then I revise it. Sometimes I'll write it by myself quietly, and this film just took on its own evolution. Woody really encouraged me, to make it as nuanced as possible. And, I stumbled onto a few things which he thought were really quite interesting. And then I did a lot of research on it, which I really enjoyed. I did a lot of research with the sex trade, and I did a lot of research with the Hasidic world. If you make a movie about sex, you have to make a movie about religion. That's too. So I feel like that goes hand in hand.
Well, you actually have a deep understanding of Jews, do you not? I mean, a theme of this movie is Italians side by side with Jews.
Yeah.
And I know you're married
Yeah.
to a Jewish woman.
Right.
And do you think that our two tribes are sibling close?
Yes, yes, I do. I mean, if you go to Italy, for example, you see it's a country that's a very, it's been invaded by lots of people, and it has all different influences there. I have lots of friends who are part Jewish, who are from Italy, because the original Jewish community that was in Italy, predates Christ. It's the oldest European community besides Greece. That's before the Inquisition and before all the people came from Spain. That was a whole different tribe that came, but it's actually the original people from Israel.
So we're related, you and I.
Yes, absolutely. But when I ride around the park in Prospect Park, I see black Hasids, all different kinds of people, and the movie sort of reflects that. That world. It's the kind of world that we live around, and I've always been interested in religion. My choice in this movie was a woman could either be a nun, which is, there's lots of films about nuns, obviously, or a Hasidic woman or a Muslim woman. So I chose that, and it was just something that interested me.
You said before that you were very interested in prostitutes, which I did not know.
Yes.
And but actually, what's interesting about this character is he presents a kind of a blank, and it seems to me that you're less interested in the prostitute than you are in the person who is relating to the prostitute or projecting onto the prostitute.
Well, I think that's what people do. That's what they do. When you talk to people in that business, you have to be a good listener and a receiver. And so, because people are looking for a release or a connection or an escape from their life or whatever. So I thought of the guy that I play as a taciturn man, a person who is not an ambitious person, but who's very good with his hands. And he can fix things, he can make things. And I know people like that. And I know a lot of talented people who nobody knows because they just don't want to push themselves out into the world that way. And I also was thinking about the idea of, there are men who are very comfortable with women. There are men who like women or are attracted to them, but they don't really enjoy their company. And this is a guy that does, and there are people like that. And I thought that would be something interesting to explore. That's all.
Well, he is a man who is good with his hands. There's a connection between being a florist, making beautiful arrangements of flowers, and knowing how to touch a woman. Is there not? You see them as
I think
extensions.
I think that can be true. That can be true. And but he's a person who can, who is aware of the other person.
You are watching YETicket.com with Al McGhee. Movie reviews and interviews. This is YETicket.com. YETicket.com. Your entertainment ticket.
We are your entertainment ticket, that's right. YETicket.com. We are your entertainment ticket, that's right. YETicket.com. 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 We are your entertainment ticket, that's right. YETicket.com. YETicket.com.